Lily Allen and Lost My Mind, Monday morning on BBC Radio 1. Okay, 8 a.m. It is time for the news now, so let's get the latest from Newsbeat with Stefan Powell.
Firefighters tackle a huge moorland fire in Lancashire, and at the World Cup, Spain are knocked out by Russia.
Newsbeat.
A major operation to extinguish an aggressive moorland fire near Bolton continues this morning. More than 150 firefighters are tackling the flames on Winter Hill. Similar fires have been affecting parts of Greater Manchester since last week. Dave Keelan is from Lancashire Fire.
The vegetation is difficult also because the land up there is peat. When peat's as dry as it is now, it burns really well. There's lots of valleys and ditches, so access and egress for firefighters and equipment is just so challenging.
Newsbeat.
2 boys aged 14 and 15 have been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after another teenager was stabbed in a street in North London. The 14-year-old victim is in a serious but stable condition. The government has come up with a new plan for the UK's customs arrangements after Brexit, but there aren't many details yet, as Newsbeat's political editor Jim Connolly explains.
We don't have any details yet about what the Prime Minister has come up with, but this is all about how we trade with Europe after Brexit. However, what's interesting here is the background to it all. Her top team can't agree on much when it comes to leaving the European Union. And the big problem for the Prime Minister is they've been more and more public in their opposing views. Ministers will discuss the new plan at the end of the week.
Research by BBC News suggests that more than 20,000 jobs have been lost or put at risk on the UK's high streets since the start of the year. In the past 6 months, around 1,200 shops run by major chains have either shut or are threatened with closure. Cheryl and Liam Payne are splitting up. In a post on Twitter, the couple said it was a tough decision to make and they were sad to make the announcement. On to sport then, and World Cup hosts Russia have pulled off the biggest shock of the tournament so far. They beat 2010 winners Spain on penalties to reach the quarter-finals. Ben Mundy's in Moscow.
If you're going to watch the hosts win a penalty shootout, there's arguably no better place than a bar in that country's capital. The Russian keeper saving twice during the spot kicks to send his side into the last 8 for the first time in 48 years and sends the entire nation into party mode.
They'll play Croatia next, who beat Denmark on penalties in a nail-biter last night. Now, it's one of the biggest sporting events of the year, but Andy Murray won't be part of it. The 2-time champion has withdrawn from Wimbledon and says he's still not fit enough for 5-set tennis. Here's his mum, Judy.
He's worked incredibly hard through his rehab at keeping his body in the best possible shape. There's just certain things he wasn't able to do because of the hip injury, but otherwise he's in as good a shape as he ever was.
Meanwhile, Roger Federer and Serena Williams are in action when the tournament starts at 11 o'clock this morning. Leeds Rhinos have sacked Brian McDermott. He was the longest-serving head coach in Rugby League Super League. He's been in charge for 8 seasons, but the Rhinos are struggling 8th in the table at the moment with just 4 games remaining of the season. And the weather, a largely dry and warm day for most of us with lots of blue skies and warm sunshine. Radio 1 Newsbeat, it's 8:03.
Hey, Grammy.
Morning, everybody.
Radio 1.
The Radio 1 Breakfast Show with Nick Grimshaw.
On Radio 1.
The Radio 1 Breakfast Show. Yeah.
Wake up right now. Get out of your bed. With Nick Grimshaw.
We can talk about it.
It's all everyone is talking about.
I have been asleep.
All you need to do is sniff out the sausage eater.
Oh my gosh.
Just wake up.
Hi, Grim. I'm in your studio.
Morning, everybody. Monday morning on the Radio 1 Breakfast Show, and quite the summer we are having. As Stefan just said, it's going to be blue skies in most places today. It's going to be dead nice out. We're in the midst of Love Island, the midst of the World Cup. Wimbledon starts today. So go. However, with Croatia v Denmark last night going to extra time, people were finally forced to choose between watching the World Cup or Love Island. Last night was the first time it happened, and it was a big decision to be made. So many people up and down the country were fighting over the remote last night, and I think we should help the nation, one household at a time, to figure out how we're going to figure this out. A couple are going to go head to head to decide who controls the TV on the Radio 1 Breakfast Show next. It's a big decision.
It's a major decision.
Major decision. Even bigger than the World Cup, we're saying. You decide next. Oh, well, if you're well, you get that remote. If you don't, you don't. We're going to play next.
The Radio 1 Breakfast Show.
Wake up right now.
The Radio 1 Breakfast Show with Nick Grimshaw.
Before that, though, music on the way from the streets. And Panic at the Disco as well. On the way for you after this.
BBC. Radio 1. I do it so low.